and welcome to Stroup Mansion. Today I want to share with you one of my recent thrift finds that I'm very excited about. I'm gonna show you how I fixed it up and then we can decorate it together. I am actually sitting in front of it right now and I'm so excited about it. A little while back on Facebook Marketplace, I managed to find the curiosity cabinet of my dreams. It is so perfect for this house. For a while I was using this IKEA cabinet that the previous owner had left, but it just didn't feel right for this house. I wanted my curiosities to feel a little bit more curious. It needed, the piece of furniture needed to fit the house a little bit better, and I managed to find that on Facebook Marketplace. It was the first thing I've ever bought on Facebook Marketplace because I don't like chatting with strangers and like trying to set up a time. It just feels like a lot of work. But this was worth it. This cabinet is amazing. So eventually I realized that those came in like a smaller size as well, and it was on. I had to have another one. I did not know what room it would go in, but I needed one because the cabinet that I have out in my hallway, the one from Facebook Marketplace, it has all of my medical oddities. So like anatomy models, teeth, dentures, that sort of thing. And then it felt like the rest of my oddities didn't really fit the same vibe, specifically like skulls and more natural type of oddities. So I needed another cabinet. I didn't know where it was gonna go, but I had to have one. I was at Habitat for Humanity in like the Akron area. I don't know specifically where I'm at because I'm just following my map. And I managed to find this cabinet here. And I saw it from a distance and I ran up to it and then I was like, oh, it doesn't have shelves. Like that really, you know? So I walked to the rest of the store and then I was like, I should go look at it again. Maybe it'll be worth it. So I went back and I looked at it and then I was like, I should do it. I should just do it. It'll be a fun project. I can make like a video about fixing it up and then it's worth it, right? So I grabbed a tape measure from an employee and I went out and I measured my car to make sure it would fit. And once I realized it would fit in my car, it was on because it had to be mine. For 60 bucks, I scored this cabinet here. And I'm a little bit sad that I did not take like a before video of it. And I don't necessarily think it looks that much different, but I did polish it up with some wood polish and that made a big difference. And it looks really awesome now. But let me tell you a little bit about the shelf making process. So I knew I could do this, but one day when my dad was over for a work day, he comes over a couple times a week to help me with projects around the house. I was like, hey dad, like this is what I want to work on today. I want to make some shelves for this cabinet that I got. And that's how he ended up making my shelves for me. I did not plan for this. I wanted to make them. My dad loves woodworking. So basically if you have like a woodworking project, he is going to just snatch it from you and do it for you, which is awesome and I super appreciate it. And it is nice sometimes to just sit back and be the guy who sits on the wood and make sure it doesn't move. But you know, I wanted to do it. So we got 2 1x12s and from that we were able to make 4 shelves. Here's something really fun though, is that the person who had donated it left a piece of paper in the bottom of the cabinet. And I just thought it was junk. I just thought it was like something somebody threw in there. And then when I got it home, I realized, wait, this is a template for a shelf. This is somebody's abandoned project. So it feels really cool to be able to finish it. Thank you very much for donating that and not just trashing the cabinet. We were able to use the paper template and kind of clean it up a little bit because it's a little bit rough and make 1 wood template and then go from there. I got 4 shelves from 2 pieces of wood and they look amazing. We routered the edges and then I gave it a good sanding. From there, it was time to stain. I have a bunch of half-used stains, so I decided to just go through my collection and see what was gonna get me the closest to this cabinet, and it ended up being a mahogany, but the amount of stain that I had left was just minimal and it was like kind of goopy. So I decided to just go to Home Depot and grab some new stain. And when I was there looking at the different stains, I realized that a red mahogany would probably be a little bit better of a fit. And let me tell you, it ended up being perfect. I think this clip is really funny because I didn't feel like going upstairs and getting gloves, but I did not want to get my hands all stainy. But then you just see me put my hand on it, and then eventually I just give up and get my hands stainy. I tried. I needed to get a box of basement gloves. While I was at Home Depot getting the stain, I ended up seeing this finishing wax and I wanted the shelves to look a little bit more finished, so finishing wax sounds perfect. In this clip, you can see what I have waxed already, and then this little area over here that is no wax. this whole board over here has been waxed. You apply an even coat, let that sit for like 15 minutes, and then you're supposed to buff it. When I finished putting on the wax, I thought it looked nice, and obviously in that one clip, I can see the difference between the waxed and unwaxed, but I kind of felt like it wasn't worth it. But what's funny is that I had one shelf that was already upstairs so that I could try it on in the cabinet, and I did not end up waxing that one. And I kind of felt like they looked similar. I couldn't necessarily see a huge difference in the way that it looked, so I decided to just not wax that one. But before I put them in the cabinet, I put some like wood oil on top of that just to give them like some extra shine. And I could tell the difference in the way that it felt between the one that was waxed and unwaxed. So I think waxing it was the way to go. It felt really nice, and it was fun to give it a little bit more of a finished feel. So while the shelves were in progress, it was time to work on the cabinet itself. I bought this cabinet knowing that it was a project, but when I got it home, I realized that it was actually in a little bit worse shape than I thought, which kind of freaked me out, kind of bummed me out, but I can fix things. The biggest problem was that one of the legs was wobbly, so I just figured, okay, I'm gonna put it up on these horses in the kitchen and I can assess what the problem is and how I might be able to fix that. It ended up that all of the legs except the wobbly one had these little dinguses in the corner, like a support brace. And this one clearly had one at some point, but it was now missing. So I just took a scrap piece of wood and cut a little dingus and then nailed it into support. After that, I threw some wood glue in the crack and just let it kind of like drip down and dry so that the leg was a little bit more secure, and that did it. The leg is now super solid. I wish that I would have got a video of me trying to wiggle it again, but it didn't wiggle. It's good now. Just needed a dingus. So I stained that, and then I added a little bit of stain over here where we're missing some veneer. The veneer on the whole piece isn't perfect, but once again, I just feel like I'm kind of leaning into my era where I'm learning to love things that show their age. I don't want a cabinet that is perfect and brand new. That was the problem with the one that I had before, the IKEA one, because it was just so new. So it's kind of nice to have something that shows its age, and I think it kind of fits the vibe that I'm going for with my oddities. So this cabinet turned out perfect. Let me show you what it looks like right now naked, and then we can decorate it together. There is that spot with the broken veneer that I put some stain on. I think it's pretty invisible. Unless you're really looking for it, it's not really a problem. As I said, I had no idea where I was gonna put this thing. I tried it on in my half bath because I felt like I kind of needed a piece of furniture in there. Did not love it, it felt too big, even though it's much smaller than my other curiosity cabinet. It was just way too big. So I was like, okay, it has to go upstairs. It doesn't really fit anywhere downstairs. And the first place I tried it on up here was the bedroom, and immediately I knew that was where it went. It actually kind of triggered a whole bedroom makeover that I'm still in the process of doing, but I will absolutely make a video about because it's kind of a huge difference without doing much at all. Anyway, cabinets in the bedroom, it looks awesome. Let's get to decorating it. My goal for this cabinet is to fill it with more natural type of oddities, so skulls, bones. Don't know if I still have them, but at a time I had a whole bunch of really cool dried mushrooms that I dried. I'm also thinking some bugs, like in a little display box, might look cool in here. I'm not really sure what I have. I went up in the attic and I got this box of skulls. But just peeking in it right now, it doesn't really look like there's much. I think I'm going to have to raid the rest of my house to kind of fill this. And that's okay, because I think that's one of the most exciting parts about being an adult, is that I can just change up my house anytime I want and nobody can tell me otherwise. So first off, on the top of the box, I just stole these from the attic. These are some antlers. I have 2 sets of them here. I actually have like a ton of sets up in the attic. I think these will look cute in here. Not the vibe I'm going for. Also not the vibe I'm going for. Here we go. This looks like I have some teeth to glue back into it. It also looks like I never finished cleaning it, honestly. I mean, it's just dirt, but we'll see about this. This is a maybe. this one's pretty nice. Here are my good skulls. We have got a possum. I feel like these should just go straight into the case. Oh, look. I do still have my dried mushrooms. I don't know if that's gonna focus on it. Whee, this is so hard. Here's something I got from an estate sale. These are microscope slides here with tadpole larva, and then we have a frog's egg, tadpole. This is a really cool piece that I don't feel like displays very well, but it is neat and it will definitely go in there. We've got a couple more skulls here. I felt like I was having some real problems focusing on things in the box because I have it on like the face follow thing to focus, and when there's not a face in there, it kind of has a hard time. So I guess I'm just gonna show you things as I put them in here, but I did just find this in the box and wanted to tell you about it because it is a very special piece of antler. So for mine and Jeff's wedding, we got married in the desert because we were really into taking road trips where we just kind of drove a lot, slept in the car, explored abandoned places, that sort of thing. It was very much our thing before we bought a house. So we got married in a ghost town in Arizona. It was really awesome because it was just a really small wedding and our families all road tripped to Arizona. Everybody kind of separately, but Jeff and I actually flew out with my parents to do this little road trip. We didn't buy tickets at the right time, so we actually flew into Dallas, Texas, and we road tripped to Arizona with my parents. And it was really, really fun and special. I feel like I can't talk too much about it without crying because it was truly like the best trip ever. And then my mom died the next year, so that sucked. But anyway, at one of the cemeteries that we stopped to explore, I found this antler and I was just like, what better souvenir could there be than an antler that I found in a cemetery, road tripping with my parents on my wedding trip. It was really cool. It was really special. I can't believe this was in a box because I feel like that should have definitely been a priority to be out. But I guess I love all of my skulls and I've just been waiting on the perfect cabinet. Anyway, let's get this put away. One more quick thing that I'm sure I don't need to say, especially if you're still watching, but I did not kill any of these animals that I have their skulls. I did clean every single skull in this collection, or I found it in the woods and then cleaned it. But yeah, obviously I didn't kill anything to get these skulls. Eeh, come on, bud. I feel like sometimes that is the hardest thing about skulls, is getting them to sit exactly right. Another fun addition that I have wanted to display somewhere but didn't know where yet was some sand dollars from our trips to the ocean. My dad gave me this seahorse when I was a kid. Oh, it's so hairy. I have no idea where it's from, but this is probably the reason why I collect these things. No trip to the ocean is complete without claws. I have so many. That was a disappointing box of attic treasures. This cabinet is feeling a little bare bones. So I'm gonna go raid the house and see what else we can find. Let's go shop my house. Fishing frog, yes. Beaver skull, yes. Let's go with this guy too. You know what? These frogs look like they should go too. Jar of teeth and poison jar, yes. So I was just gonna grab this horseshoe, but then I have this thrifted teeth book, and I feel like that's the same vibe. Plus I was already thinking about how I could use books to kind of prop things up. So teeth. Oh, I see a good one. I have this rose that I preserved from my own garden. My dad bought me this rose bush and I put it in alcohol. I think the problem is I don't want to steal all of my skulls, but maybe I don't need 4 here? I don't know. What a pain in my butt. This better work out. Trying to reorganize this here and get rid of one shelf. With 4 shelves, they have to be too close together, and I don't have room for like some of my bigger skulls. I really wanted to display them in there. The annoying thing is that these like little pegs that are in here, I guess it's not annoying, it's just good craftsmanship, is that they actually screw in instead of just kind of like being shoved in. So it's really hurting my fingies. Let's try Stinkeroni. There we go. Maybe? Yes. Okay, that gives me a lot more room. Just really wanted to get this deer here in there because he wears my flower crown from when I got married, and I kind of feel like this should be preserved better than just being on my bookshelf. So. I'm losing flowers. Stink. Look pretty, boy. Cute. Love it. Oh, I do love it. Okay, I don't know how everything else is gonna look with the shelves rearranged, but I do really love that deer there, and I want that there, and it looks so good. Something else I'm really excited to get to a safe location is my chicken fart. This is a tiny, 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 tiny baby egg. So sometimes normal hens lay really tiny eggs, and some people call them fairy eggs or chicken farts. Chicken farts to me is so much funnier. So when I found this in the coop, I immediately brought it in the house, laughed at it forever. Then I made a tiny hole in it, and with a pipette, I sucked out all of the egg, which wasn't that hard. And then I coated it with like spray Mod Podge so that it is a little bit more durable, but it is still an extremely fragile little thing. So I'm happy that I can have a safe spot in a cabinet. Look at it. This is a Great Dane. I've got a coyote. This guy's pretty cool because he has a BB stuck in his jaw. I shared how some of these pieces are sentimental, and now I have your sad story for the day. I found this dog skull on the railroad tracks when we still lived in the city. It was, listen, I don't know how it got there. But I don't like that somebody dumped a dog on the railroad tracks. If it was somebody's pet and they just didn't know what to do with it, I don't know. But I immediately knew that he had to come home and live with me where I can, I don't know, give him the respect he deserves. So, welcome home, little doggy. Here is a full snake skin I found in our garage. From face to tail, the whole thing's there, which I just think is so cool. Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. Sit. I don't like that. I kind of like doing the little groupings. The hardest things about like doing one of these sorts of videos is that although I want to share my process, I don't have a process. I kind of just throw stuff in a cabinet and just keep moving it and moving it and moving it until it looks good. I have a jar of snake skins from the rat snakes that live in our attic. So upon further thought, I think that this goes back downstairs because as you can see behind me here, I really love the way the cabinet is like mostly white and kind of like nature-y colors. And even though this is taxidermy and it fits in that sense, I feel like it's too playful, too silly to go up with the rest of this stuff. Darn, you know what? That means based on that rule of me trying to stay with like white bone colored naturally things, this doesn't fit in the cabinet. And I really liked this and I wanted to display it because it's just underappreciated. Well, I think that about wraps it up. The cabinet is still not full. I'm still gonna consider it a work in progress because I need a lot more bones. I kinda got out of the cabinet. I kinda got out of the habit of cleaning bones and like searching for skulls because I just ran out of space. I also lived in the city and didn't really have anywhere good to clean bones, but now that we have a yard and I've got so much more room to put stuff, I think I should get back at that. I feel like this is a really great start on an awesome cabinet. I'm so excited that it's in my collection, and I'm so happy that I was able to find the baby version of my big curiosity cabinet for all of my natural curiosities. I think it looks really cool, and I'm so happy with the way that it turned out. I hate that I had to not use some things because they were too colorful, but I feel like this is a really fun and different vibe. And maybe as I find more things that fit the natural curiosities category, we can change the colors a little bit, but I think this looks so cool for right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. One last thing, special shout out to whoever donated this to Habitat for Humanity. I am so happy that I was able to finish your project and give it a loving home. And yeah, see ya.